Yesterday, we talked about how the impact of microfinancing has helped some of the more than 1 billion people in poverty-stricken parts of the world. Some of these people have taken a big hit by natural disasters or have even been wiped out completely. Dr. Lim, I'm curious, are there any pitfalls to microfinancing?
Well, there is backlash by people who believe it won't work based on principle, and there are others, like me, who have faith in it. I recognize that microfinancing is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Interesting. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, it's a Band-Aid solution. It may have a small effect on a malnourished family, for example, but that's where it hits a ceiling. It does nothing to bring an entire village out of poverty. Another problem is that it helps only families that already have resources to draw on. The poorest people can't get microcredit because they have no means of paying it back.
Those are some pretty convincing arguments. It can't reach everyone, and for those it does reach, it doesn't have a big impact.
Well, there's no panacea, but I do believe the impact reaches in perpetuity. What we've seen time and time again is women whose lives have changed when they've gotten loans through microfinancing. For example, I often tell this short anecdote about Maria from a small village in Brazil. She's a talented weaver. If she hadn't gotten her loan, she wouldn't have been able to set up a cottage industry and sell coats. She now has a sustainable income and a safety net to fall back on in case she gets overextended.
So, although there are no overnight successes, microfinancing has helped diminish poverty. Are there characterizations that don't apply?
Unfortunately, yes. There are places where people are nomadic. This population doesn't stay in one area long enough to benefit from small loans. And though some of the most compelling cases are in countries with a high rate of disease or poor nutrition, microfinancing is not going to be the ideal economic solution for these people either.
So, do we just give up in those cases?
Thankfully, systems that were in place before microfinancing are still viable. Grants often bear the brunt in helping a country develop an infrastructure so systems of transportation, communication, and health care can be built. Another thing to keep in mind is that without a literate population, an economic system cannot be developed. Literacy and employment programs must come before microfinancing.
This is fascinating, but I'm afraid we'll have to end here. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Lim.